So I'm just doing a quick video of this because I didn't plan to video it at all. If you look between the two cogs, I'll try and show you this after as well, hardly any strings whatsoever. Now what I've done actually is, really all I've done is load in a different file, slightly different, and also use Cura to slice it, then into the G code, then loaded that in Protoface and print out with Protoface because I had problems printing with Cura. Now there does seem to be like a bit of an edge up here. I don't know how well you might see that. And I'm using the same feeding mechanism, so it might be that the feeding mechanism did stop a bit and stutter, so to speak, and then grip again, and then it's knocked it out of line. I'm unsure because I aren't watching this 100% of the time. I have changed the lighting on here a bit to be a bit more lights and a bit wider beam lights. I imagine it's going to finish off in a few more minutes. I am using a heated bed set to 50, 200 PLAs set to. So I'm still using this same old feeding mechanism at the moment. I did turn the voltage down on the steppers and they're hot, but not as hot as they were before. They're going okay, so I did have some like G code that just kept it, say, the X going backwards and forwards, and I turned the voltage right down and then gradually turned it up till it started moving and give it a little bit more of a turn, and that seems to be going okay. Some of the LEDs there, they've got quite a lot of flat tops, well they've got flat tops on these LEDs. I think that gives them a wider sort of area of light. You might notice that some of the blue painter's tape over there is a bit curled. That's because of when I was doing this I actually got the height wrong and knocked it up, because I have changed the nuts. I did do a video about these nuts that were wobbling like Billy-O, and now I've got nuts in, and this is a big job this, because there's 8 I think of these nuts and balls here, all around here, then you have to get them out, and this is all like laid. Well, that seems to have solved that problem. Anyway, no wobble on that so far as I can tell. But and I did the other side obviously to match, although this side wasn't getting any nut wobble on the Z anyway. So it's doing a sort of back end of that pinion cog. Now the display, I think it's totally out of whack. But I think that's a common thing with these displays, saying 100% there. Obviously this is not 100%. 2 hours 56 minutes. Let me show you that again. 2 hours 56 minutes on the display. That's how long it's taken. I don't know why they have that bar graph thing. I think that's supposed to move across on the display when it's printed, but I don't think I've ever noticed it going across. I haven't been able to really watch it all that closely, because one of the main things I've been watching is this filament here, making sure that it keeps on feeding, because this feeder, it will stop without any reason. Well, I'm not going to say without any reason, because I did find there is a like roller skate bearing on the hub ball, but that's the only bearings there are, and one of them is damaged. There's a chipped tooth off this pinion gear as well, just chipped. It still has about half the tooth on, 3/4. Sometimes I put this like clamp that I got with some glue from Poundland, some epoxy glue actually it came with, on the filament, and if I watch it I can usually see it going up, sometimes very slowly, because you can't tell that's feeding by just watching this, and sometimes it's hard to notice the like spool of plastic turning because it's turning slow. Quite often I can notice this moving, even if it's slow sometimes, if I watch it carefully. I think there's quite a bit of play in these gears as well, so when it is doing the retraction, it's not really doing a good job there. That went back a bit. See, now that's getting closer to that feeder, the clamp now, so I can tell that that plastic is actually feeding. I can't really go by, you can't go by this. I mean, it might be slipping in there and still turning. I didn't really plan to do any video of this at all. I didn't really expect it to come out what I would term as good as what it has done. I'm not sure about that edge or the gears here, like the teeth on the gears. This is herringbone, so okay, it's supposed to be a bit pointy, but I don't think that's like going in the middle. I think it must be about the finish. I think that's what I'm holding on for. I want to watch it finishing because I want to make sure that it's going to do what I ask it to do, which is, well, raise ahead and go left to try and stop any final ooze, but also play some music to tell me that it has finished when it's finished, so it's going to go quite high up. So boarding system. Fan in the background. E3D version 6, whatever it is, that type of pattern down here, certainly very good. Now I am using Protomaker to actually print this out. So it might be the slicer 3. Somebody did say slicer 3, whatever it is an ooze monster almost. So I use cooler to slice this, and it seems hardly any strings. It is very, I don't know if I can get in there at the moment, but there is some strings just between the cogs at the very bottom, like on the first layers or whatever. Yeah. And that's about all I've noticed so far. There's no, if you look between, let's do it from this angle, sorry about this. If you look between the pattern of the actual cog teeth inside, there doesn't seem to be hardly any strings there. Between the sort of holes. Mind you, this is a slightly different model, so it might be the model, it might be the slicing software, possibly setting up to that might be slightly different. To a certain extent I have a theory of, I don't care as long as it works, as long as I can repeat it. What does this say now? 3 hours 2 minutes, 100%. This is just in a dead cheap cardboard box I've cobbled together, and I've had to glue it and stick it up. Everything's in cardboard boxes around here. Power supply, power supply here, and the ramps is in here, and like a solid state relay ramps in there. Voltage dropper, because this is a 24 volt heat bed. So I'm dropping the voltage to power the ramps, that's what I'm doing there. I'm dropping from 24 volts out the power supply, I'm dropping the voltage down to 12 volts for the ramps. Powering this heat bed, 300 watt 24 volt heat bed on here. Pretty warm, that set to 50. So I'm powering that off to 24 and then dropping that 24 to 12 volts using a sort of voltage converter, and that powers the ramps and the LEDs that are on here going up and down the side, and the LEDs that are on here, and everything else that's to a certain extent involved with the 3D print. It actually does look like it's going over the final layer. There might be 1 or 2 layers like this. It's coming out so well compared with some of my other prints. I thought I'd grab my camera quick. There we are. So I think we might see some final ooze there. That's a problem I want to try and solve. It's not too bad, I don't think. So it's going left and up at the same time. I presume after this it's going to play some music. That sort of tells me, and then the bed should also come forward. There's the bed come forward. It seemed to be going, but it didn't seem to go all the way left this. So I don't know what's going on with that. that. So there's the music. That's to tell me the bed's come forward, so I can get these off. But I might try taking a small one off. Let's have a look. A bit warmish. I can leave with this. Is it? Oh, I thought it was tearing the blue painter's tape there, but it hasn't. So there's a nut capture, a hole in there. Yeah. Try and get this light a bit. That's like a raft, whatever thing on there that should hopefully it can peel off. Seems to be a bit of a hole at the side. But the layers a bit rough, but quite smooth. As I say, those chevron, I'm going to call it, for the teeth on the herringbone, doesn't seem to be exactly middle. Seems a bit chewed. Certainly outer line, it seems to have, at this height here, seems to have been gone out of line for some reason. You can see that chunk sticking out right there, so it seems like the whole thing has shifted. That came off there very easily. This is bigger, so it's spread over more of an area. I can't get that off with my hand, so I'm going to get my scraper out. I'm going to have to put the camera down when I do this. I haven't got my tripod set up. But overall I'm pretty pleased with them, even though it might be faulty compared with some of the other ones I've done. We'll have to see. Anyway, I was trying to take it off. I'm using this to like put this sharp edges of this on and trying to leave it. It is stuck on here extremely well. And you might see that step there. That's a good shot. So you can see that certainly gone almost out of line and round this big edge as well, as if the whole thing's been knocked or something. I think what I'm going to do is wait until it cools down, because that gives me, you know, like more leverage to put my hand on here. It's pretty hot. It's not, I think I can, well, I can touch it, especially on the blue painter's tape. It's still pretty warm. I'll let this cool down and see if it's going to come off any easier. So we're at 41 on the heat bed at the moment. These are monstrosities, but if ever I get this going, then presumably I can print out some cases, I hope. There was no point in me doing a big fancy job at them, you know. I'm just going to probably print out something better in the future if ever I get this going better than it is now. But I'm waiting for a feeding mechanism. I think this is where the main problem is. I know for a fact there's a dodgy bearing in there, like a roller escape bearing on this hub bolt the other side, and it hasn't got the like plate on it. Chip tooth off here. I don't know if you can see that. It's on that other side over there. Plenty of grease being put on that just to try and get it going. And that's all it does, is like this bolt pushes on at the moment a piece of aluminium in there that presses on the filament, and that pushes against the filament on the hub board. So there's no spring in there or anything like that. The only tension is by tightening and loosening this nail bolt that I put it on this nail thing. That's it. It's the only adjustment you really got there. Not ideal, to say the least. and I certainly think those teeth are, let me look, can I actually do that? There's a bit of play there. When it's going forward and back, I think these teeth are actually moving, and then it's not really gripping this big one very well. So it's not doing the instant sort of retraction that it should do. But no real strings to speak of there. Just a second. Can I maybe just see where the corner of that scraper is there? Just maybe just a small bit of a string between the two bearings. Two gauges really. There's a good look at the shift that's happened. It takes quite some time for the heat on the heat bed to actually cool down. 38 odd now. And I probably won't even show you when I get this off. Eventually I'll get it off, even if I have to, well, this blue painter's tape wants to come off anyway. Seen better days. I can peel this off and the part will come off with it then. Right, so that's probably one of my better prints recently. So the best print so far, really. No layers. I think these, at least the layers, even though they're out of line, they're not like separating. Tend to waffle on me. Oops. Got a good, like, glossy finish there. Well, I did take the blue painter's tape off. It was about the only way to get this up. And if this is the raft on here, it's almost like it's welded on. I haven't been able to like peel it off easily. But a lot of this is like tweaking with the settings. So you can see how it's gone out of line there. Try and get this light. As I say, I didn't plan to video this, so I haven't got my lighting or anything set up. A little bit of string in there, in the holes in the sort of teardrop shaped holes. But all in all, pretty good that. Want to examine this a bit closer. Okay, so that's using Cura to slice this into the G-code, loading the G-code into Pronto face, and also changed those nuts. That's the main things I've done. It's a nice silver nut in there, it doesn't wobble anymore. Not that I think that would affect the print quality all that much anyway, to be honest with you.